I'd quicker trust Diddy to give me a back rub than I would to have Benjamin Netanyahu abide by a peace agreement. Breaking news. So Donald Trump gave an ultimatum to Hamas to accept his peace plan, which was basically giving Gaza over to the Zionists, right? He would have Tony Blair, who's in the pocket of Zionist donors and Israeli politicians. He's in the pocket to them. Larry Ellison, to be exact, he gave him $350 million to Tony Blair. So they're going to rule over the people who are war criminals, and Zionists are supposed to rule over Gaza. And that was Donald Trump gave an ultimatum that if you don't accept this peace plan by October 5th, that he's just going to let Israel just completely wipe out everybody, like they've been doing. So, but breaking news, Hamas has agreed. They've agreed to release all the hostages after Trump's ultimatum. They've agreed, okay, we'll release all the hostages, which is what my advice was. My advice a long time ago was just go ahead and release that. They're not giving you any leverage. So, but they're using you keeping those hostages as a reason to keep killing you and slaughtering people. So give up the hostages and take away their reason for doing so. And apparently they've agreed to do that now. Hamas has agreed to some terms in the U.S. president's Gaza peace plan, but seeks more negotiations on others. This announcement came after Trump gave Hamas until October 5th to accept a deal to end the war and release all the hostages the terrorist group took during October 7th. Surprise attack on Israel. Trump announced the deadline in a post on Truth Social on October 3rd. So here's the headline from Reuters. Hamas says it agrees to release all Israeli hostages under Gaza plan. Hamas on Friday, that's today, had agreed to release all Israeli hostages, alive or dead, under the terms of U.S. President Donald Trump's Gaza proposal, and signaled readiness to immediately enter mediated negotiations to discuss the details. Now, you remember the last time they did this, the last time they had negotiations was in Qatar. And so they had Hamas meeting there to try to work out an end to the war. And then Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel bombed the peace negotiations and killed a bunch of, so that's not good. So we'll see what happens. I don't know, where are they supposed to go to negotiate now? And are they going to have assurances that Israel won't bomb them when they're doing the peace negotiations? Bloomberg TV says Hamas agreed to release all Israeli hostages captured in its October 7th attack, but said the rest of President Trump's 20-point peace plan would be subject to negotiations. That's what Bloomberg EM Post reports. So let's listen to this.
President Trump had given Hamas until Sunday at 6 p.m. to give an answer to his 20-point plan. What we've received here in the last few minutes is a statement from Hamas saying that they are willing to give up all of the hostages, both living and dead, which has been a big priority for President Trump. But what we're not seeing, which is perhaps equally important, is an acceptance of all of the 20 points on the plan that was unveiled on Monday by President Trump, alongside Prime Minister Netanyahu. And so that's going to be key to seeing what the U.S. response is now. The idea that some of these points, which we've talked to experts who have said certain things like Hamas agreeing to unilateral disarmament, might be very difficult for Hamas on the ground in Gaza to accept. And so looking to see what those discussions look like, where the two sides remain apart, and what they might be able to come to agreement on there in terms of a path forward.
Hamas says that regarding those other matters, that a unified national stance is needed to address any relevant issues regarding the future of the Strip. What does a unified national stance mean in this context?
Well, that's a great question. There's been an open question about who will govern in Gaza after the war. I was a couple of weeks ago in Jerusalem with Secretary of State Marco Rubio and with Prime Minister Netanyahu, and I asked them both about the planned Israeli offensive since August to go into Gaza City. And what both had indicated was that they were hoping there would be a way to bring the war to an end, for Hamas to give up the hostages without that having to happen in terms of that potentially devastating operation. But for Israel, it's key that this October 7, 2023 2023 terrorist attack, 1,200 people killed.
Yeah, lots of those people killed by Israel. IDF killed their own people through the Hannibal directive.
More taken hostage, that this never could be repeated. And so whether that is the Palestinian Authority, which there's been some skepticism, certainly for Israel, not acceptable for Hamas to remain in power, that's a key question for us going forward.
Okay, so I'm not good at predicting things, but I did advise them a while ago. And of course, nobody listens to me over there. But I was like, this obviously having these hostages is not getting you, and it's not stopping Israel from destroying Gaza, flattening it, and bombing hospitals and churches and Christians and Muslims and everybody in between. So why not give them up and take away their reason for continuing the slaughter? So now that it seems like they've accepted that, they are going to release it. My prediction is they don't want that, meaning Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel. They really don't want the Israeli people, I think, want the hostages released, but certainly the government, Benjamin Netanyahu, does not want them released because he needs to keep that reason to keep this war going, because the point of this war has always been about Israel taking over Gaza, the West Bank, and displacing, ethnically cleansing Gaza of the Palestinians. That's always been the goal. It's called the Greater Israel Project. And so my hunch is that Donald Trump will say, no, you have to accept this deal, or that's it. You have to, no negotiations. You accept, this is the deal, and this is what we're not negotiating on this. And if you don't go along with it, they're just going to keep wiping. You're going to wipe you out completely. And I think that's what's going to happen, is that they're not going to agree to all those. They want to have a negotiation, which is how you have a peace process. You have to have a negotiation. I think Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu don't really want a negotiation, and they just want Benjamin Netanyahu wants to just take over all of Gaza and the West Bank, and so I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to find a reason. I mean, you going to really trust Benjamin Netanyahu to abide by a peace agreement? Every peace agreement they've always broken, every agreement to get the hostages out, Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu. I'd quicker trust Diddy to give me a back rub than I would to have Benjamin Netanyahu abide by a peace agreement. So even if they did get one, I don't think they will, and I don't think they're going to accept this, but I, again, hope that Hamas just gives up the hostages, because they're not getting them anything anyway. And so take away their excuse for continuing the slaughter and the genocide. Take away their excuse for that. That's my advice. We'll see what happens. I don't think that, again, I don't think Trump and Netanyahu will accept this, because that's not what they want. They don't want a negotiated deal. They want a reason for the Greater Israel Project. They want a reason for Benjamin Netanyahu and the IDF to completely take over Gaza and ethnically cleanse Gaza of the Palestinians. So, well, I mean, this is a positive sign. I hope they do, even if Donald Trump doesn't accept it, they should release the hostages anyway, because it's getting them absolutely nothing, and it's just giving an excuse for Israel to keep doing what they're doing. And if you, I guess I'm going to say that's good news. I'll say this is good news. And if you want to hear my jokes about Israel, Netanyahu, and the peace process, I'll see you in Sacramento on Saturday, San Francisco on Sunday, Irvine, Australia, and then Burbank, California, the day after Thanksgiving. You had anything to say about this, Steph?
I can't believe that it's happening, but let's wait and see. I think somebody just said, and Israel continues to bomb Gaza.
As their continued course, of course. Okay, Misha, do you have anything to say about this?
I think they'll end up asking Hamas for total surrender, which is
right. That's it.
Can they do that?
No.
No. Right.
No. Okay, so we'll see what happens. Good luck. Fingers crossed. Let's see what if Donald Trump can do the art of the deal here. Fingers crossed. He hasn't been able to do it for 8 months or 10 months. We'll see, or 9 months. So we'll see. Hey, what are your biggest concerns right now when it comes to your money and your savings? Is it the fact that the national debt is now over $37 trillion and climbing by another trillion every 100 days? Is it inflation, the high cost of living, and the fear that your dollar buys less every single month? Well, maybe it's the fact that U.S. treasuries are no longer the bedrock of global finance, or that BRICS nations are actively working to dethrone the dollar. Even Bank of America has warned the dollar has already lost 10.7% of its value since January and is teetering on collapse. Add to that banks failing and the domino effect of debt threatening to bring everything down with it. If you're worried about your savings, your 401k, or your IRA, you're not alone. But here's the good news. You don't have to sit and wait for disaster. Call my friends at the Monetary Gold. They'll help you build a personalized game plan that moves a portion of your vulnerable paper assets into something real, gold and silver. Unlike the dollar, unlike Wall Street, precious metals never lose their value. Robert Kiyosaki calls this the everything bubble. And when it bursts, you don't want to be left destitute. There's only one answer. Protect yourself with precious metals before it's too late. Pick up the phone, call Monetary Gold today at 800-476-7790 and secure your future. Visit jimmylovesgold.com or call 800-476-7790 right now. Come see me on tour. I'll be in Sacramento, San Francisco, Irvine, California, Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane, Australia, and then Burbank, California, the day after Thanksgiving. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.